Hi, it's Karen from Liongate Farm, and today we're going to finish this elf as far as we can get. I'll get you all the way, and then, you know, your creativity will take it from there. Boy, it's hot outside, huh, Cannon?
Yeah, 105 degrees.
105.
2 days in a row.
2 days in a row. My plants are all got water, so we're good. All right, so you're all the way to here. You got his feet, you got his hands. This guy's missing a hand because I still didn't finish his other hand. Now we're going to do some eyeballs. We're going to do eyeballs, and it's going to be a little different than what you're used to because it's not going to be the eyes you are thinking. So what we're going to do, you need some Snow White because I like my guys to look mischievous. Very mischievous. So your eye's going to, it's not like a regular eyeball. It's more cartoony. More cartoony. We're gonna come out here and we're just gonna do this. I hope you guys enjoyed the hand video from last week. The tools are available at liongate.org in the farm store for pre-order. They will ship in September. Pretty fun little tool. So I am making an angled eyeball up this way. And it's going all the way up to here. Yeah, 105 degrees is too much.
Yeah, it feels like an oven, like when you open the oven.
Yeah, it does feel like an oven. Or the dryer. It's like, whoo, okay. My sheep are all like not moving. Right now, this looks like, he looks like a pirate patch. See, and I know you thought I was going to keep that eye down low, but I'm not. So this one's going to go the same way. Let's trace it out. It's almost like a half moon. But some other things are going to change here. We're going to change his facial structure a little bit to accommodate the eyeballs. I need this one to smooth out a little bit. So I like to start there, angle upward. Start right down kind of by the nostril, angle up. I know this is not the eyeball you were expecting to do. You're probably expecting to do something like my Santa moon, but no, we're going to do something a little bit different. Just a little take. You can get all scientific with the eyeballs, but I'm not going to do that. My guest house is hopping. Phew. Tonight, I think today's the first day we haven't had anybody in there in like 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, I am the laundry goddess.
How long has the average person been staying there? A couple nights?
No. One.
Oh, wow.
So not a lot of guest house or Airbnbs or short-term rentals do one night. We do because we are like a pit stop for Crater Lake. So people come, they either spend the night before or after they go up to Crater Lake, and then they sleep. So we're kind of like a resting spot. And then they're all like, we should have stayed here for 4 days. It's awesome here. I do get longer stays, though. I have had a couple longer stays. Rip is their favorite. We get a lot of kids. A lot of kids. Because, you know, it's hard to take kids to a hotel room. You were probably a pretty well-behaved kid, though, Cannon. Maybe. Maybe. So do you see how his eyes are poking out from his head? We don't want that. So what we're going to do, what?
My parents say that I was a crazy kid. My grandparents say that too.
I kind of believe it. So I want him to have more cheeks. So now we're going to build up around this eyeball because I want his cheeks to come all the way down here. See, and you thought we were done with the head. because we want him to be very happy. And we're just going to keep building them up. You know, everybody builds faces a different way. This just happens to be my way. I'm using the Liongate Farm Skin Tone blend. I love this blend. You know, sometimes we make blends we don't like. This one I really like because you can get a super, super fine finish on it. So next week we will resume our regularly scheduled programming where I create something you've never made before, I hope. Cannon's begging me to do pumpkins again. So if you want me to do pumpkins again, let us know, because I can. I can do a pumpkin again if you want. I have a pumpkin vine that's taking over the world out there, and it's the white pumpkins. The white kind. It's really interesting. But it's huge-mongous. It's pretty funny. It's about the only thing in my garden that's alive. I bet you never thought you'd hear me say that, right? Between the deer and the raccoons. Oh yeah, I have a raccoon story for you guys. Between the deer and the raccoons and the turkeys, I have no vegetable garden left. They have eaten everything. I'm so sad about it. I had gorgeous tomatoes coming on and they ate it.
You have to fence off the garden. The whole thing.
It would have to have a roof on it. I mean,
Yeah.
It's freaking crazy. And then it'll block the view. So it's like, you know, I don't know. Or maybe I move it. Maybe I move it to somewhere else. I don't know. I'm just, it's sad. I had all these tomatoes. I walk out there. My tomato plants are half as tall as they were, and all the tomatoes are gone. You can see he's getting way more elf-like here. Because I want him to have little dimples. So I'm building up these cheeks. Still going to go up a little higher on this side of his eye. You can see I'm just adding in little pillows. So it was like almost 4 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. And the ram barn is right outside our bedroom window, which means that Zero and Mac, our guardian dogs, are right outside the bedroom window if they're in the barn. Well, normally the sheep sleep way out in the pasture. But 3:30 a.m., I wake up to this ruckus. It was an insane ruckus. I am like, what is happening right now? I'm like, oh my gosh. So the dogs, the dogs bark at stuff, but this was like barking with intent, like we're gonna kill something. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So it's warm out, so I just go out there in my bare feet to the patio to see what is going on. And I send out the hound, which would be Rip, thinking that they're barking at deer. They were not barking at deer, because Rip went around John's car, which was parked in the thing, and all of a sudden there's all this barking and growling and hissing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what on earth? And I hear something scrabbling on the roof of the barn. So I'm calling Rip, trying to get him back, because I don't want him to get bit or anything, right? And now let's build up the forehead. We're just gonna make a little stack and go up here. Anyways, I go back in the house, I get John's shoes, because mine weren't around, and there's 9 pairs of his. And I yelled, John, you might want to come out here, because I don't know what's going on. Anyways, when I get out there, there's a raccoon hanging from the top of the barn. Mama raccoon. Mama raccoon's hanging up above from the top of the barn. There's a baby on the roof. And she launches into the tree. And then she starts, like, she's going to jump on me. And I'm like, no. This is not good. This is just not good. And then John comes out because he has to see what the ruckus is. And he has a flashlight, better than my cell phone. And there's 2 babies down, stuck between the fence and the feeder. And then there was another one that jumped into the tree from the roof. Why on earth that mama raccoon thought it was a good idea to take her babies for a drink where the dogs live is beyond me. But she's apparently done it before because her tail was just shredded. You know, it looks like they've gotten a hold of her before. It's like, oh my gosh. Last night was too quiet. They didn't come back last night. But oh my gosh. I'm just glad Rip didn't get bit or I didn't get jumped on.
Crazy story.
And then happy that my chickens are locked up because at night because they eat chickens.
Well.
Raccoons eat chickens. Oh yeah, Cannon. Soon you will have eggs.
How's that going?
4 a day. I'm getting 4 eggs a day. So you can see I built up his whole face. This is totally different than what we just started with. And now I'm building up the top of his head and his forehead. And then we're going to look at a side profile and make sure it's still pretty flat. We don't know if we want it this flat. So let's build up. Let's build up his chin. And you can see I'm just adding fiber right now because I want to get it all in. And then once I have the shape exactly like I like it, I don't like to do this step till most of the elf is done because personality is everything. This has to be the nice elf because they said today at Meetup Monday that I made the naughty elf first. So a nice elf and a naughty elf. He's looking kind of nice. Still want to put some more here. So what I'm doing is making these little stacks and just adding them on. Building it up because what do I always say? You can always add, but you can't take away. His eyes look very alienish right now. Let's give him his eyeballs. So this is the color water. It's a DHG fiber. I really like this blue. Okay, the whole elf is going to change when we add in these eyeballs. So I'm just making a nice round circle, and it's about halfway down this eyeball. Nice short pokes. Remember, only the end of your needle works. Okay, this is where we want to try and get them the same. It's amazing what an eyeball can do. Let's get this one over here. Watched any new programs lately, Cannon?
No.
No movies?
No movies.
What? You haven't been to the movies?
I haven't. I'm into the movies in years. Maybe.
I
Maybe
thought you
6
said you
years.
went to the movies not very long ago.
Nope, I did not say that.
6 years? Yeah, I think that's been longer than that for me. That's terrible. Kenna watches YouTube
Mm-hmm.
and stock market stuff, right?
Yeah,
Nerd stuff. I'm just kidding.
it's research.
Research.
It pays off.
Yes, it does. Whenever Cannon comes here, he's like, how long is this going to take? It's going to take what it takes. Faces, we want the face to be perfect. Because you know what? That's the first thing people look at when they're looking at your items to buy them or just to admire them. I have a crazy customs story. So I order wool from the UK, England, and I order wool from Italy. You guys all know that. The DHG comes from Italy, and then all the Corriedale slivers come from England. You know, and when I make an order, they're big. They're big, and I've been ordering from these guys for so long, I can't even tell you. Anyways, so my DHG order comes in. Fantastic. I've got a couple new colors that I will introduce this week. And then I get one box from England, and I get a customs bill for $222. I have never received a customs bill before. It's the weirdest thing ever. Anyways, so they're like, well, we're not going to release your stuff until you pay this. And I'm like, I'm disputing it. I think they coded it wrong because there's this whole new code system. I don't know. It's just crazy. Because that sure ups my shipping. Shipping already from the UK is insane. But $222. I really thought it was a scam when I got the email. I'm like, what? It looked like the scam. Click here. You know, I don't like click nothing. So I went online and looked up my tracking, and sure enough, there it was. Because we don't have any kind of tariff with England. It's reciprocal. You know what I mean? Weird. And if it is something new, I'd have to look at my prices. Anyways, I disputed it and I paid it. Because I need my stuff. Because my people need their stuff. Look at him already, Cannon.
Nice.
Totally different than when we sat down, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing what a little wool can do. Okay, so now we're going to outline these eyeballs. Notice I keep working this line right here because we want that to be nice and defined. So let's just take a few fibers. It's important that you do not use too many fibers here. Just a couple fibers. We're just going to go right around the eyeball. Remember, this is not like realistic. This is cartoony. This is like Santa's elf factory. Maybe this guy should have the naughty and nice lifts and have that elf right over there have his name on the naughty list. I really want him to sit on a reindeer, though. So our fans are working on Halloween right now, don't you think? And here I am doing Christmas. We could do a Frankenstein. We could do a soldier What do we want to do next, Cannon?
Pumpkins.
He wants to do pumpkins. So I don't like this line that has formed over the nose, so I'm going to put a piece of wool over it and just smooth it in. Still have a line. So I'm just taking bits, wisps of wool and going over top the nose until I get that nice and smooth. It's all going to become one. I'm going to add a little bit here in the bridge of his nose. John and I watched The Hunting Wives. I don't think I can recommend that. It's pretty much smut. Like daytime soap opera meets smut meets murder mystery. If you have nothing else to do, the murder mystery part's cool. I could do without that much smut. Okay, we have some eyeballs. Oh, isn't this cute? All right, let's look at him. So, to work on the other guy, I folded him like that. And now let's define his mouth just a little bit more. So if you felted this head as hard as you were supposed to, you're going to be able to start sculpting in things. Yeah, he definitely looks like the happy elf. Look at him head on a lot. Make sure his eyes are the same size. What do you hear, Rip? Rip hears something. So we want to look at this, see how we're doing here. All right, next up, before, you know what? I don't like his nose. I'm going to build his nose up some more. He needs more of a nose. Right here. Probably because I added that in the middle. You just have to keep working to get him symmetrical. This part takes just a little bit of time. Oh, I have a question for our viewers. So, you know, guys know I make those creative blending packs. I want to know what your favorite colors are. So if you could request a blending pack from me, what you would want in it. What specific fibers, what colors. I'm getting ready to do up a bunch because I am getting ready for flock and fiber. It's not till October, but I'm still getting ready right now because it's dyeing season. So now I just made this little pillow because I need an upper lip. And I'm going to tack it right here. Tack it right there. Let's tuck this in. Kind of looks like a mustache. Now we have an upper lip. Looking at him from the side, he's starting to make more sense, except he needs more chin. So don't just work on your faces from the front. You want to look at that side profile. You know, look at the person sitting across from you and look at their profiles. You start looking at people in different ways because you're like, oh, could I felt their face? I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Beverly, my friend Beverly, became so entranced with this person she kept running into. He had such an interesting face. She finally asked him if she could take his picture. And then she felt at him. She entered it in the fair. And the guy saw it. And she had a note on there that if he saw it, to call her. And then she gifted it to him. Pretty funny, right?
Wild.
Yeah, it looked just like him. It was pretty cool. It's pretty cool. All right. This guy has an underbite, and we're fixing that. There, he's getting much cuter now. And you're probably wondering, why am I doing this all in skin tone? Well, I'm going to show you another product that I use called Pan Pastels. You can buy them on Amazon, but it's better if you can go to an art supply store because you can pick out the colors that you want instead of getting colors that you probably won't use. So now let's get his chin all felted in. Now he looks like a Muppet. It looks like a Muppet right now. Right there is what's making it look like a Muppet. I need to go in a little bit more here. And you aren't going to believe what a difference hair makes once we put the hair on. It's crazy. He just isn't cute yet. So lots of shallow stabbing to make this smooth. I like this line to be pretty diagonal there. And let's make this a little bit more firm. He doesn't have a lip. We need to give him a lip. You'll see why this is important in a second. And then a tip up here. He's starting to look mischievous. We got that cheek up where it needs to be. Now this one needs to be up here. I hope I'm in the screen because I was leaning forward. Okay, almost ready to make him come even more to life. All right, a little bit more cheeks up here. I'm trying to make them even. And that should do it. Hey, Thursday we go back down into the 80s. Yay. Okay, let's pause on this for a second. So we've got those on. Now, I want you to take two 16 gauge wires and we are going to find center. And the length of them is subjective. However, these are going to be ears. And yes, I wire my ears. And then I want you to pinch that end. So this is an ear. Right there. And now we want to make a mostly matching one. Nobody has two ears that are the same. But we can get close. Pinchy, pinchy. We want them kind of pointy because this is elf ears. So I'm going to set him aside for just a second. So you're going to see these are going to go right here. And that does not look right yet. So basically they're like bunny ears, except we're going to put them on sideways. We want to pinch them in. I don't use any core wool with the ears. I'm going to wrap them. I'm just going to gently wrap. I'm going to go up past the tip. And then I'm going to felt them in. You want to felt past the tip and then fold it over. We don't want any wire showing. We'll probably add another piece there in just a second. So let's get this all nicely felted in. So we just did a basic thin covering. So I need a little bit more on this end. We don't want to lose that pointy tip though. And you don't want your ears to be too thick. So if you have power wax or eau de coat or whatever stiffener you use, You can use it on these and make them very non-flyaway so that they don't have any fuzzies. Or you can just felt them really well. By having 2 needles in this, you should be able to go on both sides of the wire. Kennan's over there yawning. It's your day off. Why are you yawning? Did you do any hiking today? So if you look, you can push this up. You can still push this up. We're going to use these 2 wires right here. So this is where you decide how big you want your ear. Kind of connect them together. It seriously is like a miniature bunny ear. 1 miniature bunny ear. Then you're going to decide where you want it. And you're going to take a skewer. I like mine to be in line with the cheek, like right about there in the middle of the head. So let's make some holes. I just gouge out a giant hole, and then we're gonna stick the wires in. In theory, we're gonna stick the wires in. Wake up down there. There's chocolate, there's coffee. What do you need?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
You know, he knows that we cook dinner and we have Meet Up Monday food, and he always eats before he comes. My homemade spaghetti is sitting in there. The purpose of the wire is once we get the ear attached, we'll be able to bend it the way we want it. So I'm right behind the cheek. And then I'm gonna add some wool glue onto the back of his ear. I'm always working, smoothing the face. Just like on a bunny rabbit, you're gonna start folding this in to itself. Let's take a little teeny piece of flesh and use it as wool glue on this side. He's starting to get very firm, which means once they start to get this firm, he doesn't have any nostrils, he can't breathe yet. Once they start to get this firm, you have to be careful with your pokes because any poke will show. You know, it will show as a sculpting area. So you want nice shallow pokes. Let's work around the mouth. giving this to you real time today. Sometimes we'll pause and I'll work on a piece, or I'll have another piece pre-made, but I don't have any of that. You see how he's smoothing out though. We're getting rid of all the lines. Now the only line we really want to keep is right here. Dimples. We want to keep this dimple. Okay, let's get the other ear on. I have my wire right here. I just know, I'm looking at my eyeballs, one pupil is larger than the other. This is not a big enough piece, so let me stab this in. Hate when that happens. Did you change your hair again?
I got a haircut.
You didn't think I noticed, did you? Oh yeah, you went last week and got the haircut. Yes.
Yeah.
That's why he was rushing us along.
I wouldn't have freaking booked that appointment if I knew that your friend was going to be here to record that video.
I honestly didn't know she was going to be here. So, because, you know, she comes all the way from Roseburg. So, but we will do a more in-depth. She really wants to do an in-depth one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need to. But we got it out there. She was so excited. I'm excited to be able to offer it to everybody.
Yeah, she did really good for her first video.
She did fantastic.
She's natural.
Way better than me. Yes. You know, I am awkward when it comes to the camera, when it comes to anything in public.
That's just not true.
It just is true. Okay, I feel awkward. How's that?
Yeah.
So for all you guys thinking, yeah, Karen does this. No. I am very much not an extrovert. I am an introvert. Of course, you know, John is a concrete batch plant manager, and of course, it gets to be 105 degrees outside, and so everybody wants him to pour concrete all day long. It's like, guys, are you crazy? Let's pick the hottest week of the year to work 1,000,000 hours.
It's criminal.
However, he golfed yesterday.
Yikes.
And their tea time was 11 o'clock. By 11 o'clock, it was 90 degrees. But I think we acclimated because of all the fencing we did last week. Remember me talking about the sheep escapes?
Yeah.
We fixed it.
That's good.
Well, Tuesday, it might have been Tuesday. No, it was probably Tuesday, we had to go get them again. Then Wednesday, the cows came over here. And then Thursday, we went to the store and bought a whole bunch of stuff to fix our sheep leak. And then we finished it. No, actually, we bought it on Wednesday. And on Thursday, we actually installed it at 5 o'clock in the afternoon in the heat of the day. Not a good time to be building a fence. But we haven't had a sheep leak since, so I think we fixed it. At least for now. Until the cows are gone. It's the cows that are destroying the fence. You know, this is real world ranch problems. That's why we don't have cows. We've talked about cows. Cows kill fences. Fencing is no fun. All right, ear number 2. I'm gonna give it a little twist so it goes in the hole a little bit better. There's ear number 2. Now, you want to make sure they're in the same place, guys. At the same level on his head. So we're going back here behind the cheek. I'm gouging out a giant hole. You know, skewers are one of the best felting tools ever made. This is going to go in. Now we have a second ear. Let's tack it in with just its own fibers. I like my second ear better than my first ear. You can put bunny rabbit ears on the same way I just put this guy's ear on. Gouge a little hole, stick in the ear. You just got to make sure that you have enough fiber holding it on. So that when people move them around, you could actually build up the base of the ear right here and have it go into the head, but it's not going to matter because it'll be covered by hair. Depends on how technical you want to get with your understructure. Yeah, see, this pupil is bigger than that one. Got some black in my blue. I hate when that happens. You know, oh, I see what's wrong. So right here, the eyeball is sticking up over the eye socket. There we go. Same with right here. He needs more of a brow line. No eyelids though. Not on this guy. Now let's meld it all together, what we just did. So sometimes it's good to look at your project upside down. I have a black fiber in my white. You know, that's my pet peeve. Remember, there's wires in these ears, so you want to be careful with the wires. All right, let's see our guy here. He's coming along, he's coming along. He needs a little bit build up here. You can see this face is way different than what we started with today. What we started with looked like a Ken doll. This looks like an elf. And you see, you have a space on the side of the head between the ear and the eyeball. You don't want that ear right on top of that eyeball. You want some distance here. This guy looks totally different than the one that I finished earlier today. It's funny how you can work on two different projects at the same time that are the same guy. And one's going to come out a little bit different. Let's give him I'm going to take a little tiny bit of white. And I'm going to add it right there, the top of his eyeball. I do not want any extra white fibers in my black. Just giving him a highlight in his pupil. Totally changed the look of him again. You don't want this highlight to be very big, but you don't want it to be too small. You want it to be just right, like the three bears. Okay, let's smooth this out. Okay, watch this now. This is where things change. So pan pastels, they're called artist pastels, and they're permanent. So be careful where you put it. Have we used these before? I don't think so. So I have a pink here, and I have red, and I have another pink. This is like shimmery. That's a pastel-y color. Skin color. So let's go in here. It's almost like makeup tools. I know I used red on, so we're gonna take a little bit of red, and it doesn't take much. We're going in his mouth, inside the mouth. If you want to be a purist and use fiber, you can, but check that out. What? Totally different. And now let's give him some of this color on his lips. Are elves all boys? And then I like this lighter color. We're gonna start over here. I don't know what makes them permanent, but they tend to be pretty permanent. And we'll do a little bit of that color, blend it together. I need to work on this a little bit more. Let me have some of this. Blend them together, end of his nose. You know I like to put it in his ears. Then you can take this color and go over the top, and it will blend it all together. Right now he looks like a dwarf. Here, wait, look. Isn't it crazy what the color does? It changes him totally. Totally. Now he needs hair. And then we'll make his hat. So I always put these away when I'm done with them because they're soft and you don't want them to dry out. So even after you put those pastels on, you can go back and do some more smoothing. I have a lot of smoothing to do on him. And he needs more. He looks like a little Seven Dwarfs guy. Let's get the fuzzies out. I'm always working that eye line. So I will actually work probably for an hour on smoothing out his face, which I'm not going to do here. But I would seriously sit here and work and define the lips some more. Now that we have some color to work with. It's a pretty subtle color. So let's put some hair on. Flip him over. And we're going to start right back here. This, I am using a brand new color called Bark. And I am just going to shingle this on. But I'm going to shingle it in a different way. Most of the time, shingling means putting it on, folding it down. I am not going to do that. I'm just going to attach this. Because I like their hair to be kind of sparse. I don't know why. I feel like it's elf hair. I don't want a lot of hair. You could do a lot of hair if you wanted. So I'm just going along the back of his neck, and we're going to angle it up to his ear. Ken, you're not going to believe how much the look of this changes when you add the hair. It's crazy. And then I'm adding another layer. So if you have like thinning shears or, you know, like the kind of tools that they use at the barber shop, you can trim it up after and give them an actual haircut if you want, but I just kind of leave it this way because a lot of it is going to be covered by his hat. But in case his hat comes off, I don't want him to be bald. You know, like some country singers. There's country singers out there. You think they have hair, and then they take off their hat, and they do not. It's like, what? Where's your hair? Put your hat back on. If it looks a little thin, add a little more. And we're gonna go up to the crown, just about right to there, this way. And then we will switch directions. We're gonna flip him over and switch directions. Because I didn't felt the top of his head really firmly, the stuff is just adhering like butter. Just felts right on into that skin tone, which is what you want to happen. We're giving him a pixie cut. Now let's go to the ear and felt this on. Now we're gonna flip him over and see what we got. Not very pretty yet. So he's gonna need a piece right here. I like it to come down just right in front of his ear. There is something I don't like about this guy's face. It's gonna bug me. Could be that I haven't got it all felted all the way in. So when you pull your fiber off, make sure it's lined up just a little. And we're gonna go up here. So it's pretty rustic hair. You can use mohair locks for silkier hair. So now up here, we are actually going to create a part. So we're gonna do real shingling now. Put it in, fold it over, tack it down. Let's put it in, tack it over, fold it down. But now this way, he needs a little bit of bangs. So let's fold them to the front. We want him to have a little bit of bangs. Once we put his hat on, you know, I think his face is too fat. It's bugging me. So I have a little part in his hair right there. It's not gonna show. All right, so Oh, I guess he's cute. All right, we're getting there. I like the chin right here to be really defined. Okay, so let me show you how to make a hat for this guy. I'm using the same Jackpot green. And the first thing I'm gonna do is figure out how big of a hat I need to make. So we want his hat to be about right there. And I'm gonna have it come back this far. So I have the right amount. Looks like a lot, but it's not. So this, we're gonna leave a fringe, and we're gonna leave a fringe. And we're just gonna build up a hat. And I don't want it too long, but I don't want it too small. It's basically just gonna be a big triangle that we're doing. To about right there. So that's my almost my whole felting pad. And then I'm gonna go opposite direction. Pretend like you're wet felting, but we're not. You probably could wet felt this piece, but you need the fringe to put it together. This is gonna take the longest of anything we've done. I keep looking at my guy. I think his face is too flat or something. Like I said, I'll probably work on his face for a while after we are done with this video. So now I'm tacking it all together. Hold on. See, you know, I'm just squirreling away here. See, I think the problem is right in here. I want him to be more pixie-like. Oh, I'll figure that out in a second. Okay, so I'll have one of these 7-needle tools. Now's the time to get it out. Because we laid our fiber in opposite directions, this will not take long. Making his hat.
There you go.
I don't like his face as much as the first one. I'm gonna have to work on it some more. I keep squishing it. I'll have to figure out what I don't like. So you got it partly felted. Peel it gently off your pad. If you just grip and rip, you're gonna rip it all apart because it is not felted yet. See all the hole, I don't know if you guys can see this. There's a thin spot, a thin spot. Let's mend those holes. You don't necessarily need to add more fiber. You just need to bring in what you've got. Shrink it in. Oh, I've got a lot of holes. I'm actually going to add some fibers. Don't be afraid, but don't add too much. Let me see if I covered all my holes. So it's just like when we made his vest. Be pretty methodical so you get it all. Let's flip it over. What do we got? There's a needle right there. What we got is Karen left some white fibers on her pad. All right, now we're getting somewhere. So this kind of looks like the inside. I like this for the outside. And no, this is not perfectly felted. You can keep going until it is solid if you would like. Now I'm going to put an extra strip here along the edge. A little bit more. Bring in the big dog. I'm really working this edge. This is going to be where his head is. This back here we will felt as we go. Yeah, it's really starting to come together now. Get it pretty smooth, and then once you have it pretty smooth, let me tack a couple things in here. We're gonna take it, we're gonna just felt it right on his head. Well, actually, no, we're not gonna felt it on his head yet. We're gonna take it, we're gonna roll it up here. We're gonna start bringing it together. Yes, it will felt to the front of it. That's okay. I want this piece here. Don't worry if it's not perfect. I can get to about right there. You gotta love this Corriedale sliver because it just felts like nothing. It's great. And now we have this space here. So we know that his hat, you want to get your hat exactly where you want it. We're gonna felt it to his head. Now you may envision a different kind of hat for your elf, so feel free to change that up. The sky's the limit. It is your elf that you're making, with a little bit of guidance from me. So we're felting it right to his head. Now you don't want to felt up in here to his head, just where it's touching his head. So it's a little band. It's probably gonna be like a ½ an inch if your doll is the same size as mine. Now, if you want to continue to felt this off the doll and make it removable, you can do that too. I like mine to stay permanently on, because they're not really meant to be toys. If you're going to make an actual doll that is a toy for a child, you're going to have to make sure it is felted as hard as a rock. So you can see I'm felting along the edge, making it look like the hat is above the hair. So let's squish it in the hair. Hair's poking out. So now I left this all loose back here because we're going to take it's cute like this. You like it like this? Yeah. But I'm going to take it and curve it down. And I'm going to felt it down. So I got a wrinkle here. When you bring the hat down, you're going to be able to see, you shape this hat. I want it to stay down, like it's on his head, slouching down. So I'm actually felting in wrinkles. That's why I didn't felt this super hard, so it still had some malleability to do some wrinkles. And again, I would sit here and I will felt this until it's all nice and smooth, attached to his head. You can felt this to a point. I can attach a bell here. You can attach a bell on the end of his hat. You can sew a hat and attach it to him. Remember, it doesn't all have to be felt. Unless, of course, you're entering it in a fiber contest. Then they want it to be felt. Okay, let's look at his face. Well, he's starting to look mischievous. I'm going to work on his face just a little bit here. I can't talk to my friend Ellie right now. Sorry about that, Cannon.
No worries.
I don't normally have my volume on, so that was a weird thing. So what don't I like about this? There is something I don't like. I think it's right here. Yep, okay. So, he has an old man neck. That's what I don't like. So the more you mess with this, the more character it's gonna get. So I think what's really wrong, actually I know what's wrong. Okay, look, has no neck. I'm like, what is wrong? Something is not right. Let's give the poor guy some neck. Oops. Oh, much better. Much better. He had an ostrich neck. Much more better. Let's get some neck on this guy. Kind of looks like Chucky right now. Okay, so you guys get the idea. We're going to show you the cuter one here in a minute. I still don't think he has enough lips. He has old man lips. You know, I don't do faces very often, but I get super picky about them when I do them. Ah, that was what was wrong. Maybe a little bit more. And I'm just adding little tiny bits. Don't be afraid to look at your piece and go, something is wrong. Don't be afraid to ask somebody to look at it and go, what is wrong with this? It's the only way we get better, is to learn from our mistakes. I mean, look, I learned a whole new way how to make hands. And I love it. Okay, way better. Still might need a little bit more, but definitely way, way better. It's amazing how much one little feature can change. Yeah, now that he has a neck. So like I said, I am going to sit and work on this until it is smooth, smooth, smooth. Because I don't like hairy faces. So like I want a space there that's the same, just until I get my mischievous little elf face. I might add a little bit more to the lips, maybe not. I think we're getting there now. So join us next time. We'll do something totally different. Finally, Cannon's thanking the Lord. He's bored of the elf. He doesn't understand how long these things really take to do. If you need supplies, head over to liongate.org or liongate.farm.com, either whatever you want to type. Either one will take you to the same place. I have I actually added a lot of new dyed locks and some blending packs. It's pretty cool. And I will keep adding them. Since we're not doing our monthly sales anymore, now they get added just as soon as they're dry and I get them packaged up. So get over there and check them out. If you need skin tone that I'm using, it's the Liongate Farm Skin Tone Blend. It's an awesome, awesome color. At least I think it is. So, what else, Cannon? Make sure you like us.
Subscribe to the channel.
Subscribe. We need subscribers. Tell your friends. Tell your friends. What number are we at now? Have we hit 9,000 yet?
No, we're almost at 8,500.
Oh, we're only at 8,500?
It's been a slow year for subscribers.
It is. It is. So we need you guys to steal some from the other channels and send them to us. Send them to us. Tell us what you want us to make next. We made the doll for you. And we'll go from there. We will go from there. So have a great day. And I can't wait to see all your elves.